my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay
everyone?
calm.
What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody calm down!
Help!
Here,
Oh,
take my hand.
ah!
Come on. You're gonna fall unless you take my hand.
No, give me your other hand.
Oh, my other hand isn't strong enough. You take my little hand.
No, get it away from me!
Take it. Take my hand.
After a big afternoon of shopping, there's nothing better than some Mexican food and a nice little drink. Come on down and enjoy a nice Mexican fiesta.
Guess what? We took everything you love about the Bloomin' Onion and created a menu you've never seen before.
Let me hear you say, Bloom that ass. Bloom that ass.
This bloomified menu starts at $13.99 and it's gonna blow your bloomin' mind.
Always helpful when I add myself to my own stream. It's gonna be one of those mornings, just warning you. Why is this like dropping? Slowly going down to the crotchal zone. Let's not do that. Good morning, everybody. Woke up very tired this morning, so I don't know. I'm gonna be more subdued than I normally am. Mo asked, what did he say? Camel must have really worn you out last night. That stream ended at like, I don't know, we stopped talking at like 9 o'clock or something. For me, I don't know what time it was for you Americans. It's crazy. But welcome to the show. Going to do some coloring this morning. It won't be flatting. Bancroft is a case of the olds. I really do. I don't like that angle. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do with my hands. Valley Law says, I love that drawing. I always lose viewers when that video starts. People like they oh, what's this? Drawing comics, and then they see that and they're like, oh, they bounce out. But we've got man in camo hat. He says it's 420 for me. 420 means you're probably No, I can't calculate that. I was gonna say I was gonna be clever and say like that means you're like mountain time. I don't know. Bancroft totally ignored us in Camel's chat yesterday. I did. But that's because I was flatting while I was chatting. So you know, it is what it is. It's currently okay, so let's investigate here. So for Mark, it's 320. So Mark would be west of man in camo hat. And it's almost 11 o'clock over in Amsterdam. And it's 8:21 here in Melbourne. Well, we are a international lot. Ooh, continental breakfast. Mark has come back for his first, creating quite a lead for himself here. Congratulations, Mark, up to 11. We've got Mo Biggs in the house. Aforementioned, the Golden Wrench himself. We've got comics legend here as well. Beretsky the Great. Darkseid, unfortunately, has to go to bed. That's all right. We understand. As I just said, it is an international array. Jeff Starler in the house. Val Schnitzel. I never went to Amsterdam. I've tried to go, but I only got so far as Eindhoven. And then we had to give up and go back. We ran out of time. We ran out of money. But I got close. Why is there TV commercials? Just because I find them funny. That's why. The good times of the TV. As Mo says, the commercials are setting the tone for the Ozstravaganza, which is about to begin. Exactly. Welcome to the show, man in the camo hat. It's my early morning chill out and try to get some work done kind of stream. But we'll see how we go. Sumo Thori is here. What's up, Sumo? Hello, Valley Law. Hello, John's Longbox. Great to see you all in here. I heard Amsterdam is really dirty, but seems fun. In Michigan, right? That's very different. Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, he's in Michigan. Michigan is up there. And is that Eastern or Central? I think that's Eastern. If you do, we should do shrooms together. I was once hanging out with a girl. This is obviously years back, and in Germany. She was from Hungary, I believe. And she was telling me a story as she was rolling this spliff. And I said, like a proper, what do you call it? Like a blunt, like not like a little joint, this massive thing. And I don't smoke. And she's like, I'm like, I hope you're not rolling that massive thing for both of us because I ain't getting down with that thing. Anyway, she's telling me about the time that she did mushrooms, how she's never going to do it again because she almost jumped out of a 4-story window and her friend had to stop her. And I was like, I think I'm going to just go home. Easton, the one that looks like a man on the American map. I haven't noticed that. Naturally, Bancroft gatekeeps my constructive notes from last night's stream. All right. Mo says, I caught a few minutes of it. We're both geniuses. Yes, I agree. I don't like how other non-specified people run their YouTube channels. Yeah, neither do I. When did I talk about other YouTube channels? Oh, we were talking about getting captured. No, I don't want that for me. Shrooms don't do that. That sounds like ketamine. All right. No movement on the trading cards as of yet, but we have had movement. Check it out on the ultra rare double signed copy of Waking Dream that is available here. I don't know if this is probably not Mark anymore because I think he was the one who put in the first bid, but now we got 2 bids on it. So I don't know if Mark's going to wait, bide his time, but it's up to $64 over there. I don't know how many of these are in existence. I cannot remember. I know a very small number of people requested this, and I don't know how many times they did it. It was a while ago, but you even get the preview comic as well. It's like a twofer. And of course, the Lord Alwyn and Alexander art here, up to $300 dues. This is so encouraging Because I was you wonder the first ones is going to come out big and then go down, but it is sort of just like whatever art is more appealing to people. And as I mentioned, this is definitely the most detailed and took the longest out of all of them. So I'm actually not surprised that it's going for so much. But oh, it's still Mark. He increased his bid. This is my stoop. Right now, Michael's going to think that Michigan looks like a man instead of a mitten. Now stinking by sticks. It'll be forever in my mind. All right, so Michigan looks like a mitten. All right, I got it. What does Mo say? James Rock from Broken Compass. Generally an entertaining guy, has the most boring, rambling, when we will see the end of this my shrooms experience story I've ever had the misfortune of hearing. Well, luckily I don't do any drugs, so I don't have any story. I do have, well, I have sampled, I smoked, but I didn't inhale stories, but they're very uninteresting. So we won't get into that. It ended up with me vomiting. So yeah, that's about the long and short of it. I thought it's time I get back to actually start coloring. Exactly, Sumo. And that is not to say, like, I have had vivid self-induced hallucinations through lucid dreaming. And I don't think many people have had that. That's something that I can claim that not many others can. So, yeah. We did stream really late last night. And Amanda even said, oh, I watched the whole thing. It's like, what are you people? I mean, if I'm not in bed by 11 o'clock, I'm falling asleep on the couch, while I'm drawing or something. Mo says Bancroft isn't as high as his forehead is. Very few things are. All right. What am I doing? What am I doing? I am going to do the cell shading part. I noticed here a little bit of a incongruity here. I think let's just fix this up live, because why the hell not, actually? Because look at this. This is a light, kind of a cool lantern thing. And then that's it there. She's grabbing onto it with her hand, but the shadow is facing the light. So I think I'm just going to get rid of that shadow. I don't think Rod is going to mind if I just knock that out, I think it's fine. Because I think we need to get a little bit of highlight there. I didn't see that earlier. Shadow banning, exactly. Sometimes you just have to do it. Trying to just replicate Rod's style a little bit. He likes a little bit of, little bit of line action. I don't know how much to go with it, but anyway, I think that'll do. Tis a tiny little thing. Alrighty. Well Read in the house. What's up, Well Read? What's up, Johnny Rando? I saw Alasmat's little documentary. I actually quite like his cadence in those documentaries that he's making. If you watch, I told him you sound a little bit like Summoning Salt. If anyone has watched Summoning Salt, who is one of my favorite YouTubers, he does the history of speedrunning in retro video games, and he makes these little documentaries, and he talks like that, and he makes it really dramatic by doing these pauses, and it's like as if you know who the person is. Like he'll say, and then the record was broken by none other than Monkey Boy 17. And it's like, that's kind of how Alasmat does his as well. But I noticed Well Read was doing the same thing. Anyway, he did a stream about the history of the Etsy boys, and sorry, Elasmat did that, and Well Read was in there. Johnny says Elasmat is an accomplished documentarian. Have I ever watched King of Kong? I love King of Kong. Mo, love King of Kong. Yeah, I wish there were more things like there have been some other sort of attempts at, you know, things like that, but I don't think any of them reach the heights. But that's kind of what Summoning Salt's videos are like. They're a bit like a King of Kong kind of, you know, those sort of stories. Although he doesn't like make villains or anything like that guy. Can't remember his name. And you were Well Read was trapped in a dark gift stream. Dark Gift has been streaming a lot lately. Getting blamed for everything. What's up, Henry Throne? Great to see you in here. Do you have any plans for other projects outside of the Lucent? No, not really. Sort of become my life in a way. Like, and there's so much to do, you know. I feel like I've only just started, even after all these years. I mean, obviously, I haven't been doing it, you know, like full time or anything ever. But I also haven't been putting in the amount of effort that I've been putting in these last, you know, 3 or 4 years on it. It's longer than that now, actually. I don't like, I know a lot of people say like, oh, I've got so many stories I want to tell. I have one. I'm just polishing the same story, getting it as good as I can. You know? I'm thankfully for me, I made it a big enough story that it can kind of handle that. But yeah, I don't have any others. Yes, I have a day job. I will be starting my day job in exactly an hour. So yeah, no, if I didn't have the old day job, oh my goodness. Completely different story. I was actually talking to Camel off air last night, how I think I'm getting, you know, as you progress, you get better, you get quicker. You kind of pick up artistic shorthand. You don't have to look up references much for certain things. Like when I was drawing that horse, I had to have 5 horses around me because I know nothing about what horses look like. But once you have your characters sort of dialed in, you sort of know what they look like. You don't really, I still do reference how I've drawn them in the past just because I find it makes them better. But I said to him, oh, you know, with these trading cards, they have taken a lot longer than I thought they would because originally I wasn't thinking of doing friggin', you know, pages on the back of them, little mini comics. But, you know, I knocked out 11 pinups, art for the trading cards. And then almost 11 pages. I've got 2 or 3 panels left to finish on that, all in a couple of months. That's like a new speed record for me. My job is I am a graphic and textile designer. And it sort of switches between graphics and textiles depending on the time of year, because the industry I work in is sort of fashion based. So when I'm not doing, like, all this week, I was doing textile stuff almost all week. But when that's not happening, I'm just sort of back on doing graphic stuff. It also includes things like color correcting images and stuff like that. So a lot of Photoshop work as well. Because I'm the in-house designer. So I wear many hats. So at least in my day job, I'm always, doing something graphic. I'm working on my tablet. Bancroft cancelled his zombie apocalypse romance starring undead versions of himself and Rod. Graveyard shut. But Sumo, my day job is not polishing a ball of I cannot get the shine going on the ball. It's very smooth, but it's just not shining. I think I might have to start again. Because I never actually watched a video on how to do it properly. I feel like we kind of maybe rushed the steps. I don't know. Mel is going to love to hear that I would start again. She's been loving having these dirt balls around the house. Hearing me polish them. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. Got Phil in the house. What's up, Phil? Oh, hi, Mark. Will you be making Lucent books forever, or is there an ending planned? The end of the story that I'm writing right now either ends at the end of book 5 or book 6, depending on how compressed I want to make them. Because they do take a long time, and a whole nother book is a big commitment. So, I have the story done, but whether or not how much you compress it or decompress it, I don't know. I might just get quicker. In which case, you could do 6. But no, there is an ending done. It's not like a forever sort of series thing, But having said that, the world is quite large, so if I do want to continue it, I could. I was sort of daydreaming the other day after reading Dune. I was like, man, that would be cool to write a novel of the Lucent, like an adaptation, because I actually started it sort of as a novel back in the day. I really was just writing it. It was completely unreadable trash, but that would be like that. That would be cool. That way I wouldn't have to do all the art. So I was daydreaming about that, after I finished the comic. But I don't know. That's just me daydreaming. Well, Red says he feels trapped in his job, would love to change. I wish I had some kind of, platitude to say, but I don't. Be the change you want to see in the world. Well read. And then he's gonna I quit my job. I'm doing pottery classes online. Mo says, if I want those balls to shine, I got to spit on that thing. Well, I tried putting moisture on one of them, and I kind of wrecked it. So, yeah. At one point, you're supposed to not get them wet anymore. They're kind of like those things that turn into gremlins. I can't remember their names. Like, don't get them wet, because that sort of ruins them. You can put a little bit of moisture on, but if you put too much on, it sort of they start to fall apart. I think that's what happened. Mogwai, thank you. Yes. Mo likes to point out that, well, McDonald's is hiring some robots. If you can pretend to be a robot. Well read, talking about a lot of layoffs this year. Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of shaking up going on. No, I'm very happy to have my job. Sort of made myself indispensable. I get to work from home now after COVID for a lot, not all the time, but I do like my solitude. Will Trump buy Australia? Sometimes I wish he would, but then you know, Australians just aren't that compatible with Trump. I don't think. Maybe once upon a time they would have been, but not currently. We have a bit of a uni party going on. They just voted themselves. So you know, every voting system has the two big parties, but we've always had really quite influential minor parties. Anyway, the two parties got together and just voted themselves a whole lot more power to be able to, well, you know, do election stuff and everything. So that's good, you know. Not. Because a lot of the times the minor parties are the ones that were, you know, bring some common sense. Not always, but at least sometimes. Make Australia great again. It's going to take some work. Oh my God. No, I really saw the sort of true colors of my fellow countrymen during the lockdowns, and what I saw was not it wasn't the country I thought I was living in. I think a lot of people feel that way. But maybe it's just because I'm in Victoria, and Victoria is the I don't know. It's the woke state. I'm shocked to see how socialist Aussies are now, far from the roughing it outback frontiersmen we think of. Well, I think that was all a bit of a marketing thing, even in the, you know, originally. But yeah, the problem with Australia is we just have it so good. You know, well, at least we have had it. It was cheap. It was safe. You know, the economy just went up. People just got rich. I think we're still the richest people in the world. I think. I can't be sure about that anymore with the dollar and the changes, but at one point we definitely were. And people just We're like, it's because we're so awesome and we need to, you know, not just because of, I don't know, happenstance or whatever. And people don't want to change. They love being governed hard here. Let's just say that. Henry says, I felt the same about the US. Shocked so many people fell for the nonsense. Well, there's so many people in the US. I felt that viscerally when I first went there. I didn't expect to feel that. I was like, this is the country. I think I've never been to a country with so many people in it. You know, in Australia, it used to be 25 million. It's 27 now. How did that happen in the last 2 years, I wonder? Anyway, certainly not because we're all having babies. Yeah, there's a lot of people in the States. It's very different. Whereas it's not as different in Australia. If you go to Perth, you go to Brisbane, you go to Melbourne, there is differences, but it's not as huge as, say, from Montana to New York to Florida to New Mexico, you know? At least from what I've seen. Volkanovski is the best thing to come from Australia. Casey Anthony, I don't even know what that is. And it's the best thing? What am I missing out on here? You need to educate me. You know I don't know anything. It is a very different experience coloring someone else's art. And you're just sort of, because whenever I do my own line art, I have the colors in mind where the kind of highlights are going to go. But when you're doing someone else's, you're just sort of guessing. I never really, I've experienced that for the first time when I was working on Rob's book. But with that one as well, I had a little bit of Corey's original colors to kind of go off as well. Alexander Volkanovski. Oh, UFC champion. I don't follow UFC at all, but go Alexander. Mark says 23.3 million in Florida alone. That is crazy. That's almost the entire country of Australia. Do Aussies have to pay taxes at the brothel? Yes. I said that very confidently, like I've been there, but no, I mean, what I mean is it's all legal. So, yeah. It's just like any other business. There would be GST on all goods and services. The only exemptions on things like that are, you know, like certain dairy products or whatever. You know, they're trying to help the farmers or something. But but there's brothels all around here because we have this enormous industrial zone around where I live, and they're just so, and it's sort of like it's all mixed in together with residential, you know, areas. So you'll get these houses, and they'll have a sign out the front, and it'll say something such and such, but it just looks like a normal house. And then there's also ones that are kind of a bit more what you would imagine. They look like they're something out of Sons of Anarchy, that kind of building, that kind of area. That's what it looks like. A quick answer for sure. I was speaking from more of a tax knowledge, not so much a service knowledge, you know? Death and taxes. I'm sure even the streetwalkers probably have some kind of license. But we don't get them around here, thankfully. They're sort of more out towards St. Kilda, more towards the kind of bit more grimy areas. Don't get the wrong idea. Bancroft wasn't a client at the. Those are some hard times, Mo. We had to do what we had to do to get by. It was funny during lockdown. The brothels were one of the only places where you were both client and worker, where you were allowed to break the rules. So all these bars were closing down. They were dying off, but the brothels were probably doing amazing business. You couldn't leave the house for a bad reason. But if you said I'm going to the brothel, they're like, all right. It's so bizarre. It makes you wonder what some, I don't know, like someone has on some politician or something. Tune in for the stylish coasts. Stay for the finger wrinkles. Yes. Indeed. Good old finger wrinkles. I probably wouldn't put this many finger wrinkles, but in Rod we trust. Personally, I'd maybe tone it down, but each artist has their own style. So I'm trying to light it one from that side and a bit from that side, so we'll see how that looks. Mike only knows this because Rob told him, says Phil. Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, it was a point of contention. It was like people were asking, why the brothels? What's going on there? It's funny. What's up, Noah? I haven't seen Noah in a while. How you going, Noah? How's the book going? Noah was asking a lot of questions of Shelby and myself. Did it end up printing and everything? You do kind of take for granted, if you know all this stuff, how valuable it is. Like I've been printing books and other things going all the way back to the early 2000s. I think that was the first time I sent stuff to print, would have been in like 2000, 2001. And since then, hundreds of things. But if you don't have that knowledge, it's tough. This is good. Just got a proof test copy in. It came out great. Excellent. Good to hear. It's Mavericks, not to be confused with Maverick or Mavericks. This is Noah's one. Mavericks, obviously. Maverick was cool. The movie. It was cool. I did like that. They made 2 of them, didn't they? God, when you become a parent, you really do just sort of start, you start becoming a dad. And 2 of those movies? Maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe there was 1. I don't know. All I remember is liking it. I watched Top Gun 100 times. Are you talking about the Maverick, the poker player one? That's a great one too. Was that the TV show Maverick with? No, not gonna come. That's actually an old American TV show I did watch. It was him and his brother just traveling around playing poker and getting into hijinks. The poker one. Yeah. Well, yeah, I love that one too. I thought you were talking about the Top Gun one. I think there was only 1 movie of that. I think. Again, can't remember. With Mel Gibson. And he was in it, the guy. I'm pretty sure. Wasn't he? He was the dad. Was he? I need to watch it again. I don't know. I don't know nothing. I kind of like it that way. Ignorance really is bliss. Yeah, what's his face? Played the dad. Maverick, the show. Yeah, right. Yeah, you get it. That's dad speak. Cranberry gets it. I'm really excited about this book. It's quite different to what I do. And there's a lot of action in it, but the action has there's a point to it. At first you think it's just, oh, she's, they're just fighting, what's going on, but then you start to realize that there is something going on, and it's all about, the name of the book is Fractured Mind. And then it gets a little bit like psychological, and it gets weird. It was cool. Rod was like, let's get really weird with this. Let's just do some crazy, freaky stuff. Well, not like super freaky or anything, but like just things that you wouldn't normally get to draw, essentially. It's like, yeah, it's a good idea. Let's do that. So we kind of, even pushed it a little bit beyond what the original script was, just so we could do cool pages that I haven't seen too much out there. Casey says, which Lucent is the first one? So Waking Dream is the first one. That's the one where either on the cover is the one where she's sort of falling right down into the cover, or the other one where she's sort of like floating in her underwear. There's 2 covers on that. And then there was Painted Death, which is the one I fulfilled last year. And now this Fractured Mind is a prequel. It's not a continuation. It's part of that same story, But I think a lot people call it a supplemental or whatever, but it's a prequel to the story. I know Rini calls hers like she's got like 2.5 or something. I just like to say the name of the book. You could read this one first, you could read this one last. It doesn't really matter. It just sort of adds to it, if you know what I mean. And again, because it's set in a dream, I get to do some pretty cool stuff. Ghostwriter, are there generally any rules of thumb regarding using insert panels and bleeds? Well, the rule of I don't know if you would call it a rule of thumb, but I do pre-press for people, and without saying the names of the books, there are often times where I do have to take an inset panel and nudge it, move it, extend it, something, because a lot of the times the artist doesn't really think about how this is going to go to print and what they're going to have to consider. But be reasonable. This one is well placed. It's quite far from the edge. There's not going to be any trimming or anything happening. But oftentimes, like the artist will put the inset panel like right here, and you're like, "Oh, what am I going to do?" So you either have to extend the inset panel out into the bleed, or cut it in and fill in art. Like Eric Weathers has a good template that he uses for his lettering, and he's got page, bleed, and safe zone. And I have the same thing as well, and I'm even harsher than he is in the safe zone. Put everything in, especially because most of my books go straight to square bound, perfect bound, so you get that disappearing into the spine effect. So you got to cater for that as well. But this one will be a floppy, so I don't have to worry about that. That's why I put in so many double page spreads in this one, because don't have to worry about that. I think whenever you're laying out pages, just be mindful that it has to print. You need bleed. It's not going to be exact. I think you should be right. Did you have to go live right now? I'm trying to catch up on Lord Raptor Jesus stream from last night, which I fell asleep through. Sup, chat. Well, you can read him. You can watch him at any time on replay. I normally go live at this time. This is when I just get to hang out and pretend to work. And thank you for being here, nonetheless. Wait, you have an Ella too? This is Ella. Ella Forsyth is my character. Always falling. Always in a state of confusion. Not her fault, by the way. Confusing times. Valley Law says, haven't read the Lucent. It's on my shortlist. There are many reviews on my site. If anyone is in any doubt, you can go and read them and see what people thought of the story, think of the story. Mo says, Bancroft declares war and replays. No, just, you can always watch a replay at your leisure, is what I'm saying. at your pleasure. Whereas it's only ever live once, you know? Get that vibe, hang out with the chat. Sometimes you're watching a replay and you really want to comment in the chat, and then you go, oh, I can't. That happens to me often. It's just not quite the same leaving a comment, you know? Plungecast says, nice. Mine's named after my niece who just got married, created her own comic when she was 4 years old. That's cool. Donald DeLay's doing something like that with his daughter. That's very cool. And also Mark, oh God, how am I, 6 a.m. Mark. What's his last name? It's Italian, I think. There is a secret reason why her name is Ella, and I don't know if I'll ever reveal it. I might hint at it one day. Well, like, not why, like why I chose the name Ella for her. But well, maybe one day. Maybe I'll take it to my grave. Johnny says, get your Lucent's books now, fellas. Those tariffs are activated. It's a very dense and compelling story. Well, luckily, the tariffs to Australia are only on steel and aluminium. So as long as I keep my books paper, we should be fine. But you are correct, Johnny. It is dense. I do try to cram a lot of subtext and foreshadowing and, all that fun stuff into it. Mystery. When I can. Mark says, if I win that auction, I will have 5 different King Dream. And I'm the one who's always like not that into variant covers, but I guess these things just sort of add up. I mean, I like to do editions. So for that first cover you're bidding on is the first edition. And then there was the second edition. There were other editions. That's funny. Mark Burtonshaw says, if you're not reading the Lucent, you aren't truly alive. Yes, that's exactly right. Mark, should put that on the... It sounds like something Biden would say. You ain't reading the Lucent. You ain't black. But you're correct. Of course, 100%. What are you doing with your life? If you're not reading the Lucent, what are you doing with your life? I don't know if that's kind of my marketing, if I could pull that off. That's more of a Camel thing. Mo thinks Ella is code for the feral bushpig came up with every lad. No, I'm not reading that. I read the start and then I quickly glance through. That isn't the reason, Mo, just in case you're wondering. Thankfully. Ali says, I'll read them this weekend. Please do let me know what you think, good or bad. If you could leave a review, that would be amazing. I love reading the reviews. I love having the reviews on the site. It is one of my favorite things of having a site. That's the stuff that really, when you're kind of feeling the grind, reading reviews and hearing people. Someone left a comment on one of my shorts today that said that the Lucent is their favorite comic, and I was like, damn, that's the stuff. Yeah, that's why. Okay, that's why you're putting all the effort in. You know. Because my goodness, it is a lot of effort. Sumo says, feeling the grind. Damn it, Bancroft. I speak from the heart, Sumo. You know, I can't be beholden to how other people interpret my words. I'm a straight talking man. I tell you which you already do know. Blunt man. You like Shakespeare. Thank you, Mark. He says he has left his reviews. He has indeed. Rod loves the the multiple. I love it as well. And I hadn't even thought about this. This isn't in the script at all. He just did that. And this is the second page I think he ever did. That's when I knew I had the right artist. I started doing it myself after, after seeing him do it. Mm-hmm. Coloring the boobs. A lot of people accuse Ella of having no boobs, which is clearly not the case. It's just a lot of times she's wearing outfits that doesn't show them off. When I say a lot of people, it's mostly Rob. Love the grays and the palette. Thank you, Plunge. Well, these are just the flats, so I will still be working out, what it's going to look like. But yeah, this is the color of her outfit. But I do like to do, I like to mood light it. So that'll probably be affected by what color I light it in. But we'll see. But no, I like the way it's looking so far, which is good. Could there be other collaborators doing Lucent books? Yes, I think so. I have certain stories because the Lucent is set in our world. We have all of our time to go back through, and the sort of it affects all of human history. So I've got synopsises. They're not fully scripted out or anything, but plots for stories that take place in Viking times and other certain times. And so I was actually thinking out loud. I haven't said this to anyone, but thinking out loud, I was like, man, it'd be cool. Krager, who I can never remember his first name. Is it Justin? Is it Jason? Is it Jeremy? No one knows. He's got that new Meathead book. We're going to have him on, have Will on. I think he'd be good for a Viking book. He's already done Viking stories. He's got that kind of scratchy style. But yeah, we'll see how this book goes. I mean, when I started this book, it's yeah, it was a different kind of landscape in the scene, but it's basically, you know, you, the chat, paid for it. So through the memberships and super chats and whatnot. So I'm not necessarily worried about making money back off it. It's already sort of been produced in that sense. Is like how many can I make? Like how many can I print? We'll see. She's chaste, reserved, says Cranberry. Allegedly, Rod has ruined Bancroft for all other collaborators. It's just sort of it's can be kind of slow going, the comic book process. You know, when you are doing it kind of part time, and you know you're working with people who have to, you know, they have to have their other jobs as well. You know, it can take a long time. So you got to be committed, you know, to the long haul, which I am. So that's fine. But I'm a little wary of, you know, you see a lot of people, you know, get really excited about working with others and everything. And for me, it feels like the more people you have involved, the more points where it can go wrong, essentially. And I've seen it go wrong for a lot of people, you know, my friends and people I don't know. You know, like you hear the horror stories. So just especially colorists. Originally, I was thinking I might get someone else to color this, but I don't. I like the idea that I'm coloring it so it actually still looks like it's part of my, you know, story. It's got that stamp on it for me. But just as well, like, you know, I've seen too many horror stories from, you know, people waiting on colorists, or the colors don't look good and they waste a lot of money. And I am an Aussie indeed. Can't you hear it? An Aussie will save you. Who else could say, I'm actually not that good at, you know, the no thing that Australians do? I'm actually not that good at it. Others, my children are a lot better than me at it. They go, no. They get, you know, 10 vowels into one, 10 sounds into one vowel. Did I miss a joke? I have seen Arrested Development, Mo, but I don't know what you're referring. It was a long time ago. Ghost Rider says, I realize what causes a lot of plot holes. The mind begins with the desired result rather than considering cause and effect early on. That's one way to look at it. I've always found whenever I've uncovered a plot hole or written myself into a corner, it's because I haven't fully fleshed out the motivations of every single character involved. Usually, like, maybe I've fleshed out the motivations of the main ones, but not the others. Usually, well, like, every time I've kind of really dug in and kind of like, what does this person want? What are they doing? Why? Like, what's their reasons for, you know, whatever? I've been able to figure it out. But that's sort of a little bit like what you're saying. You want something and then you just go for it without considering how to get there. Oh, Mo is comparing me to the straight talk of Tobias. No, I've completely forgotten all of that. I mean, I don't think I watched Arrested Development since it came out, and that was a long time ago. I remember loving it. What I remember of Arrested Development is when the dad is in jail and they call him Big Bear for some reason, and the son goes, I didn't even know we were calling him Big Bear. That's what I remember. Oh, and also there's always money in the banana stand. I remember that. No, I mean there's always money in the banana stand. That was kind of groundbreaking, that show. Like, I thought, oh, they're never going to do, a sitcom again. And they did. Lame. What's up, Rocky? Great to see you here. What's up, Past Master Dan? No touching. Yeah. My point is, I've surely forgotten more than I remember. Mo's got to head out. Hal to the Golden Wrench. We'll be closing up here in about 5 minutes or so myself. So have a good day, Mo. Have I remembered Valentine's Day? It is Valentine's Day here. I don't normally celebrate Valentine's Day. Never have. But Mel did say Happy Valentine's Day to me earlier. So to all you couples out there, I don't know. I've always been kind of, cynical in that regard. Don't you tell me when to romance. I do consider myself a romantic, although that would make Mel laugh her ass off. But I do. There is romance in the Lucent, which I've copped a little bit of ridicule for, but I don't care. I think all good stories have a little bit of it in there. Mark says, if my sister-in-law hadn't reminded me, things wouldn't be so good. Right. Yeah. No, neither Mel or I particularly care that much about it. So. Have I ever visited the Barton brothers? I've hung out with them. Wouldn't say visited, but yeah, we a couple of years back. I can't remember if it was a kind of a baby shower thing or an engagement thing. I can't remember, but Clayton invited Rob and I out to a pub, and met the Bartons. We hung out and chatted, and it was good. I don't know why we don't do that more often. I've never met Dean, comics mate. He lives in Melbourne, same city. We just never. There he is. Look at that. Yeah, we met at a pub up in the north somewhere. Mark says the Mel signature alone makes the eBay bid worth it. Make sure she knows that. I will. It's a very rare one. It was Clayton's birthday. There you go. Yeah, he didn't have did he have his baby yet? I can't remember. It was so long ago. I don't know why we haven't met, And so Corey says, I met Dean. It doesn't look like what you think he would. Maybe that's why he doesn't want to beat up. Cranberry says, I've been watching a lot of You've Got Mail. The movie? That's the thing. That's the difference with me and a lot of other men. I like romantic comedies if they're good movies. They haven't made a good one in probably, I don't know, 15, 20 years. But back when they were the thing, I liked them. I find them funny and good. But, yeah. Plungecast, which is the Lucent book I should start with? Start with Waking Dream. That's the first book. That's the intro. But Pain of Death, you know, takes off right at where that one ends. So, yeah, if you start with Pain of Death, you probably won't really, you'll be missing some key information. 51st Dates. Now, which one was that? I think I liked that, but I don't quite remember. It's not like my favorite or anything like that. Valley Law says, I'm a bit of a bromantic. Nice one. I think I'm gonna be done. Gonna go to work, but I did all the cell shading for her. I chatted. So there you go. So I used that as a mask to do the brush in the colors to give it a little bit more of three-dimensionality. See, at the moment it's quite flat. It's a bit of a spot there. So yeah, but we'll continue that on. Everybody loves romantic comedies. There you go. Adam Sandler and the Poltergeist. Oh, I do like that one. Yes, I've just forgot that's what it was called. No, that's a great movie. It's actually one of Adam Sandler's best movies. All right. I'm going to leave you there. Thank you very much for hanging out. Good luck to Mark on his various auctions that he is involved in. I suppose I could show them off just before we jet. Where is that? Have I got that? Where did I close it? Oh, no, it's here. Just minimized it. There we go. Mark is the current bidder on this piece here, going for $300 dues. Amazing. Which is 180 US dollars. Thank the strong US market. He's also, whoa, it's up to 4 bids on this one here. And again, how can I stress the ultra rare copy of Waking Dream? It's not going to let me. It's not going to let me. With my signature and Mel's signature on the title page. So it's the first edition of Waking Dream. And also, you can go over to the site, get a trading card set, get a book, get a t-shirt. Limited numbers of hardcovers left. Read the reviews, leave a review, all that good stuff. The Lucent, the big date coming soon. All right, everybody. That's it for me. Look at that. Join the mailing list. Please do. I'll leave you there. I got to go to work. Have a good day, good night, whatever you do, wherever you go. Enjoy yourself. Bye.
Perth made an Australian video, and I wasn't even in it.
Emotional damage.